Holy cow, Jay, this is the first time I've seen BYU in person. Keita, he is a full-grown man. Holy cow, he looks like a NFL tight end.
BYU, they've got as young as 18 in Yegor Demin and as old as 26 in Trevin Nell. The Cougars turn over the Cougars. It'll be BYU basketball. Take a look at their starting lineup. This is just the 5th time all year they've had their strongest starting 5 healthy, and they'll need it against this Houston defense.
Richie Saunders missed a couple of games recently with a concussion, but then came back and put up against Arizona State a career-high 30 points in their last game.
Here's Demin, shot clock down to 4. To the corner, Cannon Catchings had to catch and shoot, and that's a shot clock violation. There's that pressure you were hinting at.
Uncomfortable, right? I mean, you're not gonna be able to just swing the ball around the perimeter and think you're gonna end up with a good shot. Somebody's got to get to the paint, they've got to penetrate, and then pitch out.
And Houston, the reigning Big 12 regular season champions. They've won 5 in a row. Take a look at their starting 5, getting better with each game. A big test today.
Well, Demin out there guarding a 6'9", guarding LJ Cryer to start the game.
Demin grabs the board, sends it up ahead to the fellow freshman Cannon Catchings, and he's fouled on his way to the rim. The first-year head coach Kevin Young, he was an NBA assistant for his entire career, 20 years, and now getting into the college ranks, and he's done a nice job mixing this veteran BYU team with some really talented freshmen.
He's only been the head coach since April, and he's already signed the 3 highest recruits in program history. Oh my gosh, Cannon Catchings, somebody fell down. He was standing underneath the basket with nobody guarding him.
Yeah, they missed him underneath. Dallin Hall finds Richie Saunders, who's coming off a career-high 30 points. Shot clock ticks down to 7, and an offensive foul is the call.
See, that's the pressure I'm talking about. You're not going to just make 2 or 3 perimeter passes and then think against Kelvin Sampson's team, I'm just going to dribble in and get to the paint. You're going to have to pass and cut with purpose.
Kelvin Sampson doing what Kelvin Sampson does best, and that's getting a team to progress as the season goes on. A couple of hiccups in November, now a 5-game win streak, and they should be atop the Big 12 standings, or expected to be throughout this season. Sharp in the lane, gets it to go to open the scoring. You never know. And Emmanuel Sharp dealing with a foot problem, swollen. He was even in a boot earlier this week, but Kelvin Sampson said, we need him out there, and looks good in the opening couple of possessions. Demin, the blow-by. What a finish. Yegor Demin.
There is somewhere in the neighborhood of 37 NBA scouts in the arena, and they are here primarily to watch the 6'9" freshman from Moscow.
Came to BYU by way of Real Madrid. What a pickup for Kevin Young. You see why. Roberts in the lane. An immediate answer for Houston.
So far, we've seen Yegor Demin guard LJ Cryer and Juwan Roberts. That's everybody on the basketball court.
And he can guard you 1 through 5. Here's Saunders, lines up the 3, misfires. BYU still looking to find their rhythm offensively. Sharp, a deep 3. Rattles in and out, no good.
Rebounding will be a big key in this game. BYU came in #1 in the Big 12, #2 in the country in rebounding differential. Nice pass.
Beautiful feed. Keita the finish to tie it at 4.
Everybody elevated up to the free throw line, and Keita just sealed Juwan Roberts, and a nice pass from Richie Saunders.
You said he looks like a tight end.
Oh my gosh. He's huge.
Right back to Roberts. Double team comes. Passes out of it. LJ Cryer, floater, does not fall. Kept alive though. Tugler was battling Keita underneath.
A really bad swing pass by Emmanuel Sharp. You're swinging the ball. If you throw it to a shooter, even if he's open and it's down around his knees, you've got to put it where he can catch it in shooting position.
Demon had it knocked down. It bobbles to Roberts. Nothing comes easy against this Houston defense. Sharp, a transition triple. Got it.
Yeah, that's a breakdown defensively. Keba Keita, if you have Emmanuel Sharp out on the three-point line and you don't have a hand up, you did not pay attention during the scouting report.
Saunders trying to answer with a three, no good. Offensive rebound, keeps it alive for BYU. And again, denied on the way to the rim. Sharp, this time takes it inside and is fouled. He can beat you outside, inside. Emmanuel Sharp doing Emmanuel Sharp things early.
And then he's such a strong, tough kid that he draws fouls. Listen, he has been to the free throw line, Jay, more than 20 times compared to every player on both teams. Nobody's within 20 free throw attempts of Emmanuel Sharp, where he steps to the line and he shoots 91%.
And that's the thing. It's one thing to get to the line, but to be above 90% once you get there is special.
Well, he's turned it into a weapon, right? You talk about your three-point shot, you talk about your floater. Well, one of his best weapons is the ability to get to the line.
Well, his father was his high school basketball coach and instilled that in him. You got to make your free throws, and he knocks down both of them. Sharp, the last 5 points for Houston as they've opened up a 5-point lead. Richie Saunders has been held in check, passes it off into a double team. BYU struggling with this Houston pressure early.
Oh, that's now 4 turnovers and only 2 field goals made. Look, when you face Houston's defense, the first guy is not going to be open. You have to pivot, reverse pivot, and looking across the court's the right place to go, but you can't sling it across your body. You've got to turn and face and snap the pass.
5 minutes into this game, you said it before the game.
Yeah.
How is BYU going to deal with being uncomfortable? So far, more turnovers than made shots. Offensive rebound, second chance for Cryer. He can't hit it. Gave up a third try at it, and instead resets with Uzan.
JoJo Tugler so active on the boards.
Sets the screen here. Uzan step back three. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Milos Uzan, the transfer from Oklahoma, has fit in exceedingly well here in Houston.
Houston on an 8-0 run. BYU desperate for a bucket in a scoring drought of more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Catching, step back jumper, knocks it down.
Oh, that
Cannon Catchings.
Big time. I mean, big time. Had Juwan Roberts off balance, dribbling with his left hand and stepped back and created 4 feet of open space. Jeez, that's a good looking freshman there.
BYU's got a few of them. Surrounded by a veteran cast of characters as well. Poked away, it'll stay Houston basketball. 6 seconds on the shot clock.
If you're BYU, it's important that we talk so much about L.J. Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp and their three-point shooting. Milos Uzan knocks down a 3. He's only a 39% shooter out there. There aren't other three-point shooters on the floor. So know the personnel, know who you have to close out on, and then more importantly, know who you can help off of and still recover before they shoot a 3.
Uzan right down the lane, draws the foul.
Milos Uzan always has his head up. Even when you think he's not going to shoot, he is looking around for teammates. You know, it's funny, I haven't seen it the last 2 games. I describe him as almost like a European point guard. He gets to the paint, he jump stops, he pivots, he'll step and shoot a one-legged step back floater, and very creative once he gets to the paint.
Kelvin Sampson told us after shoot-around that when it came to the recruitment of Milos Uzan, it was more of an interview. There was a lot of interest in taking that Jamal Shed spot, if you will, and Uzan very impressive during that interview process. He's been even more impressive since he's come to campus and been in the system, continually improving with every practice, with every game. He has fit right in to the Big 12 reigning regular season champion. Shot clock down to 5. BYU in trouble, and they turn it over again. 7 minutes into this game, Reed, they are still searching for their identity offensively against Houston's D.
Now that's 5 turnovers. They only average 11 per game coming into this contest, and looked over there to the bench, and Kevin Young's got his arms out like, come on, what are we doing?
Terrence Arsenault lines up the 3. Can't connect. Another offensive rebound. Houston has been dominant on the glass in this first half.
Again, BYU came into this game the #1 rebounding team in the Big 12.
Another chance for Arsenault. This time he drills it for 3. Timeout, BYU.
Now rebound.
Houston on a 12-2 run, and they've opened up a 10-point lead here at home. Reed Geddes, Jay Alter with you. 11 of Houston's 16 points have come off BYU turnovers.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 5 possessions have been turnover. And for Milos Uzan and his teammates, look, when you're preparing to play Houston, the challenge is you can talk about it. You can say they're going to do this, but it's really hard to prepare for. You can't simulate it in practice. And then you come out and the lights come on and you go, holy cow. I mean, this is a lot, and it will be the entire 40 minutes.
There's not a scout team in America that can simulate Houston's defense, and BYU turns it over again. That is 4 turnovers on BYU's last 6 possessions, and they are searching for any sort of offensive flow right now.
3 field goals made, 6 turnovers.
And it's allowed Houston to get into their rhythm. Xavier Francis called for a travel.
The post defense for BYU has been good. They have doubled down on Xavier Francis and Juwan Roberts. They've created some turnovers, and so if you're Kevin Young, there is a positive, but you got to do something different offensively, right? Some down screens, some cross screens, and try to get the ball down past the free throw line extended.
Cross-court pass, finds Nell on a 3, and he drills it. Trevin Nell delivers exactly what BYU was searching for.
A nice job. It was an ugly pass out of the double team, a twisting body, but the first option is not going to be open. Skip passes is where you attack the double team.
Uzan left open. Can't make BYU pay. BYU has numbers. Baker lines up an open look. Can't connect too much on it.
Oh, man, there's a lot of contact down under the basket. Xavier Francis.
With Bošković, the junior from Serbia. Shot clock under 10.
Bošković is physical. Boy, he is really putting his body on people.
Pryor has to hurry. Heaves it well short. BYU strings together a couple of really good defensive possessions. Can they cash in on the offensive end is the question. Those have been few and far between. Now, it's one of the best shooters on the team. Comes up empty there.
Well, Kevin Young told us one of the things they learned from the loss at Providence is defensively they were not connected enough. They have been much better the last 2 minutes. So what does that mean? Not connected enough. When you're spread out and you don't know where your teammates are going to be, you leave gaps, you leave driving lanes, and then suddenly it looks like you're just porous and people can get to the basket. When you talk about being connected, it's almost as if everyone is on strings and you're staying tight. You know where your teammates are going to be.
And with points at a premium going against this elite Houston defense, your defense needs to rise to that level.
There is no doubt about that. And one of the things that's interesting, Kevin Young, his offense, they can play fast. So a lot of times when you're playing against a team like Houston, take your first shot, right? Come down in transition. Look for early baskets as opposed to trying to set up and grind it out.
Arsenault follows his own miss, keeps the possession for Houston. Offensive foul on the screen. JoJo Tugler called for it.
Now Kelvin Sampson's furious. JoJo Tugler, well, when you set a screen, you got to pop your feet and then roll, but you can't do it all in one motion. The refs need to hear your feet pop.
Yegor Demmin back into the game for BYU. 3 in blue. So much expected of the young 18-year-old. Step back 3. Goes begging. And a foul called against Nell on the ensuing rebound. Now, BYU is not shy. They will let it fly from 3, but they are 1 for 7 from deep in this first half.
Well, they came into this game shooting 37% behind the line. Houston opponents shoot only 28%. You made the point. Look, I don't know that the numbers have to be exactly that, but your point was right. Whoever gets the closest to their season average is going to win this game.
And the scoreboard reflects that so far. A Houston 8-point lead. And it has been built by defense. They're used to hearing that in these parts with Kelvin Sampson in a program that the backbone is defense. Milo Suzanne into the lane, floater, doesn't fall. Batted out, second chance opportunity. Sharp, he can't connect. JoJo Tugler.
Well, the amount of space JoJo Tugler can cover. He was the double team out of beyond the top of the key and then blocked a shot at the rim.
A 7'6" wingspan, and it leads to 2 through Malik Wilson. Great defense leads to excellent offense. That's the Houston way. Now quiets the crowd, drills his second 3 of the afternoon.
Boy, Trevin Nell is feeling it. That's his second one, and both of them looked really good. Quick release. I mean, a lightning quick release.
Nell has half of the BYU points of this first half. They have been hard to come by. Sharp leans into contact, draws the foul. So Emmanuel Sharp at the line. When we come back, Cannon Catchings whistled for the foul. This is Big 12 basketball. Points at a premium. Houston a 19-12 lead, and they've done it with defense.
Yeah, JoJo Tugler double teaming, and then what looks like an easy basket. JoJo Tugler comes out of nowhere to block this shot. Boy, he blocked 8 shots in a game earlier this year. Seven points. Relax, make your passes, make your cuts, and we're right back in this.
Now this comes with the territory when you're playing Kelvin Sampson in Houston. You saw those numbers we just popped up. Their defense leads Division I in multiple categories. And one thing they've done a great job is not just creating turnovers of 6, but 11 points off of those turnovers.
Yeah, and that's a +8 differential, and you add to that +6 differential on second chance points, and that's the story of the game here in the first half.
BYU trying to get Yegor Demin going, as well as Richie Saunders, and he turns it over. I mean, Saunders coming off a career-high 30, and he has only attempted 2 shots this afternoon. He's missed them both. So Houston has done what they do to a lot of teams, taking BYU outside their offensive rhythm. Sharp locked it up. The finish. Jojo Tugler.
I think that was Cannon Catchings that just got caught in no man's land. Here's the thing that's interesting. If you're this dunk, watch as he rolls off of the screen, and defensively you can't stay in the middle. You got to go one side or the other. The point I was about to make is Yegor Demin is not even using the screens anymore. There's high screens, and he's leaving 3 feet between him and the screener.
Tugler, the big finish at the rim. He has been dynamite defensively all season for Houston as well.
Yeah, against Alabama, he blocked 8 shots in that game. He's in the top 3 block shots, and the Houston Cougars lead the Big 12 in block shots. Jojo Tugler is the main reason.
Demin draws a foul. He missed 3 games for BYU, returned against Arizona State, looked real good. Speaking with Kevin Young before the game, talking about his young freshman from Moscow by way of the Real Madrid Academy. He said, how is he going to attack the Houston pressure? And I think you saw it on that last drive, right? You got to be brave.
Yeah, you've got to put your head down, and you've got to go with a purpose. What would concern me if I'm Kevin Young is the defense has taken Demin completely out of their sets. It's predicated on an on-the-ball screen, and if he's going to be cautious because of the defense that tops out behind the screen, then it completely eliminates the offensive set. BYU in a zone defense.
Pryor been quiet in this first half, drills that 3. His first basket of the afternoon is a triple. And Houston doubling up BYU. 26-13 in this first half.
Yeah, really good execution against the 2-3 zone. A screen by Jojo Tugler, and Milos Uzan finds LJ Cryer for a nice basket. Good up fake. You know, the BYU is so effective, their perimeter players with their up fakes. Well, the same is true for LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp.
Cryer missed his first 4 shots, but hit that one. Largest lead of the game. BYU cuts into it. Cannon Catchings. The freshman delivers a much-needed 3.
Yeah, 6'9" freshman has a beautiful high release on his jump shot.
Pryor, a deep 3. And another offensive rhythm keeps it alive for Houston. Pryor from in short, cleaning up the spill. Javier Francis in perfect position.
Yeah, Dallin Hall got stuck on Javier Francis down there and just could not keep him off the glass.
7 offensive rebounds for Houston. It's resulted in 8 second chance points. That rolls off the rim, no good for Keba Keita.
Well, that's twice. BYU looks like they've had a clear pick and roll down the middle, get right to the rim, only to have the shot blocked.
Frustrating first half for BYU. Look at that rebounding margin. -7 today. Usually they're +13, one of the best in the nation.
Well, number 2 in the NCAA and the best in the Big 12.
Saunders catch and shoot from the corner. That rims out. Roberts denied the ball. It'll stay with Houston.
Pretty good defense that time by Dawson Baker. Juwan Roberts posted up right at the block, and by the time the ball hit his hands, he had been pushed out about 15, 16 feet from the basket.
Milo's Uzan. A patient possession. Now in attack mode, down the lane, swatted, and it falls to Richie Saunders. 3 Houston defenders trailing him, but he got all the way to the rim.
Somebody check on our cameraman. Juwan Roberts just took him out.
Blocker charge for the cameraman.
Oh, that was a block.
First basket of the night for Richie Saunders. It's still a 10-point Houston lead. Here's LJ Cryer. Finds Arsenault. 3 seconds to shoot. Into the paint. Up. Doesn't drop. And a foul called on Javier Francis.
Now, we've talked so much about Houston's defense. BYU doing a nice job. They seem to be playing with a little more energy on the defensive end in the last 2 minutes. A good block and then a run out, and a nice job looking over your shoulder at who's coming in right behind you.
Cannon Catchings. He's fouled by Francis. That's 2 fouls in 10 seconds for Javier Francis.
Well, that was the right play by Javier Francis. You come over there, you get inside the restricted arc, and you leave your feet. The problem is, instead of staying straight up, he lowered his arm down, and that's an easy call for the officials.
Home fans thought it was all ball. But I agree with you, some lean.
Yeah. Well, anytime you have it horizontal to the floor, your arm horizontal, that's an easy call. As good as Cannon Catchings has been early in his BYU career, he has certainly struggled from the free throw line.
Yeah, he is not his aunt, Tamika Catchings, 4-time gold medalist, WNBA MVP. She would not allow 48% foul shooting.
So what you're saying is that Thanksgiving, you're sitting around the table.
Put up some free throws.
You say, hey, let's go out on the driveway. He ain't winning the family contest.
No. In fact, Tamika Catchings won the ESPN college basketball contest. We got to get you there next year. Maybe you'd have something to say about it, but out of all the people that do college basketball for ESPN, she was the best.
That does not surprise me. Boy, it's hard when you're at Thanksgiving and your aunt's talking trash to you. Well, excellent defense.
Nothing has come easy for BYU offensively today. And they turn it over again. Here comes Houston, Arsenault, and that's a goaltend.
Yeah, that's got to be a goal. High release on his three-point shot, but add that to his athleticism and his ability to up fake and get to the rim, and boy, he is a special freshman.
Now off the screen, nothing but air. They tried to, out of the timeout, line up a 3 for Trevin now.
It was a good set, right? That's the cleanest look anybody's had, but it was like somebody left the back door open and we had a crosswind blowing to the right. 15 points off of turnovers in the first half for Houston.
Just about 50% of their scoring in this first half has come off BYU turnovers. Shot clock down to 5. Feed inside Francis. He lost the handle. It'll stay Houston basketball, but only 1.5 seconds on that shot clock.
Yeah, that was Terrence Arsenault's shot. You get the shot clock down that low, you got to put the ball up on the rim and let your teammates go get it.
Arsenault has to heave it as the shot clock sounds, and he drills it. Terrence Arsenault beats the buzzer. And then makes the play on defense. Kelvin Sampson will love that from his sophomore Terrence Arsenault.
Yeah, a lot of people in the program think that he has the highest ceiling and the ability to get your own shot. I'm not sure why you could get that clean a look when you know he has to catch and shoot. The Cougars on a 7-0 run.
Now answers bearing a big-time three. Trevin now, he's got 3 triples.
Yeah, he's been money, right? Other than the air ball he just shot on that out-of-bounds play, he has been lights out shooting the ball.
Under 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Uzan, that rims out no good from 3. Another Houston offensive rebound. That's 9 offensive rebounds in this first half.
Terrence Arsenault was in the corner behind the three-point line on the right side, got the offensive rebound in the corner on the left side.
Demon on a 3, misfires. Arsenault finds Francis, who hammers it home.
And that all started with Milos Uzan keeping his head up and making the easy pass.
Stolen away again. Francis, count it, plus the foul.
You will never see a more reluctant fast break in your life. Javier Francis looking for someone to throw it to. Good sharing of the basketball. Javier Francis picked that ball up at the top of the key, and he looked around like, somebody come get this ball. And terrific job of the big fella by finishing. That looked like a car wreck in slow motion.
And it's a 17-point Houston advantage. Largest lead of the afternoon.
Look, the story just continues. BYU with more turnovers, 9, than field goals made, 8.
And Houston 17 points off of those turnovers. What do you do if you're Kevin Young, first-year head coach for BYU? You've been punched in the mouth in this first half. How do you respond?
Well, you say, look, we're still in it, but he's got to change his sets. He needs more down screens, and he's got to do different sets in order to initiate his offense. The on-the-ball pick and rolls are not working.
Swatted away again. The suffocating Houston defense continues. Wilson pulls it out. Kelvin Sampson calls his use it or lose it timeout.
Yeah, that is now 9 offensive rebounds in the first half for Houston. Rebound totals 19 to 12. Juwan Roberts limping. He missed a game 2 games ago because of a recurring issue with his leg. Came back and played in the Oklahoma State game, the first game for the Houston Cougars, and was terrific. Had 20 points, 11 rebounds, both season high, but he's clearly limping back to the huddle.
Roberts, the program career leader in victories, 125, most of any Houston player.
Epitomizes the toughness and the personality and the grit that Kelvin Sampson values so much. If you'd have told me when this kid walked into this campus that he was going to leave as the winningest player, I would not have believed that.
What would make you say that?
Well, he came in and he had one skill. He had a nose for the ball and he played extremely hard. He has gotten better every single year. He has grown and matured into a leadership role. The players look to him, they go to him, and I'm telling you, he is a unique player, and he very much deserves being the winningest player in program history.
So you just said the word leadership. You saw it when they broke that huddle. As the first half is ticking to a close, 20 seconds left in it, 7 on the shot clock, and they get it to Roberts.
Ooh, that's a travel.
Yep.
Great defense. Yegor Demmin came out and with those long arms, 6'9", took away the passing lane and did not allow the ball reversal.
So BYU with an opportunity right before the break, 14.5 seconds to work with.
Well, you got to look for Trevin Nell, right?
He's the only hot hand. He has 9 of BYU's 22. Yegor Demmin only 3 points, walks it up here. They've kept the freshman in check. Highly touted, a projected lottery pick, has struggled against his Houston pressure. And Houston closes out the first half with a defensive stop. And almost went from well beyond half court. Milos Uzan in this first half. And here's Demmin barking orders from the logo. Off to Saunders. 7 seconds to shoot. Dallin Hall. Demmin launches a corner 3. Way off the mark. Houston has controlled this game from the tip. Took an early lead and kept their foot on the gas. You know, we've talked so much about their defense, and for good reason. The chess match coming into the day was who's going to get closer to their numbers. Will BYU's offense or Houston's defense dominate it? Look at that.
Well, that's storyline almost exactly even with the season average defensively for the Cougars, and that is the storyline of this game.
BYU came into today shooting 49% from the field, 37% from 3. Houston's defense, as you just saw, holds opponents to 28% from 3, and that's what BYU's shooting.
Well, they got that rebound. BYU got the rebound. Kevin Young was jumping up and pumping his arm saying, let's go, run and get some clean looks.
Hall hits the 3. That's exactly what BYU's looking for.
Now, that's going to be a nice adjustment. Look for shots earlier in the shot clock in transition.
BYU leads the Big 12 with 11 made threes per game. That is their 5th. Sharp taking on the freshman. Bounced it to Tugler underneath, who draws the foul.
Cannon Catchings having a few words with Emmanuel Sharp. Emmanuel Sharp thought he drew a foul, and nice up fakes by Sharp and by JoJo Tugler, but freshman feeling his oats a little bit. We talked about Cannon Catchings struggling at the free throw line in the first half. The same can be said for JoJo Tugler. He has improved a lot, but he certainly does not step up to the line with confidence.
Just around that 50% number from the line. He missed the last 12 games of last season, and Houston missed him down the stretch. And he's taken a leap from freshman to sophomore year.
Yeah, no doubt. Knocked Javier Francis, a 2-year starter, out of the lineup.
Saunders driving baseline. Sharp got in the way. It is whistled for an early foul.
Now, Richie Saunders had that forearm up. That's now going to be 3 fouls on Sharp. And, boy, he had that forearm up, and a nice job initiating the contact.
Catching shoots off the inbound. No good, and Tugler fouled. Pulling down that rebound.
You know, I thought that was going to be number 4 on Sharp. The official stats had him at 3 at halftime.
Well, if he had 4, he'd be on the bench sitting next to Calvin Sampson, so stays in the game with 3.
Well, not a bad approach if you're BYU, right? To go at him and put him on the bench.
Good pump fake. Sharp hits it. Emmanuel Sharp. How good has he been from 3 this season?
He is absolute money. 48% from behind the line.
Damon spins his way free. No good. Cada. That rolls off the rim. No good. Nothing will fall for BYU. Kick out three. Saunders. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Yeah, credit Cannon Catchings. He was just battling down there on the board and almost traveled, but boy, did BYU need that jump shot from Richie Saunders.
Now can they string together some defensive stops? They've yet to have a stretch in this game where they've dominated 2 or 3 minutes. Houston has always had a response.
Now, so often you talk about runs and you always think of offensive runs, but you're making the good point. You need to go on a defensive run as well. And Emmanuel Sharp, again, we've seen so many good up fakes with the ball to create openings for jump shots.
Sharp calling for it and gets it. He leads Houston with 12 points. Fairly balanced scoring for Houston today. Sharp the hottest hand. Let's see if it'll stay hot. It does! Emmanuel Sharp buries another one.
Now the 2-3 zone is not working for BYU.
Saunders draws the foul on the drive.
Richie Saunders playing with more energy here coming out of the locker room in the second half, playing with more confidence.
It was something that I was thinking about at halftime, Reed, is how do you attack this Houston defense? We talk about it year in and year out, and this season certainly no exception. That they lead the nation in so many figures. Is there a way to get the best of a Houston defense when they're playing like this?
You know, I always think of the coach's expression about be quick but don't hurry, right? That you've got to, and we talked about it as one of the keys to the game in the opening. You have to embrace being uncomfortable. You can't ever think that the pressure is going to let up and step back, because it's not going to. Staying in the zone. No, they're back to man-to-man.
Well, the switch to zone has not helped. Roberts lost his dribble, turned it over, but then gets it back. Roberts never gave up on that ball, although gave it away.
Holy cow.
Every time Houston loses it, they fought for it and got it right back.
Well, how many different players touched the ball during that sequence?
The home fans love the energy and effort they're seeing. The foul called on the floor. Roberts exerting himself. Houston comfortable in this second half, leading by 17.
Point in the second half, you said, hey, look, they've made some shots, BYU. Now they need to get some consecutive stops. Doesn't do any good just to keep it at 17, and the zone defense clearly was not working, and they're going to run it on this baseline out of bounds play, but they're going to have to stay in their man-to-man.
What's amazing is L.J. Cryer and Milo Zuzan have combined 2 of 15 from the floor. Yeah. So it's both off days offensively, yet Houston's up 17.
L.J. Cryer averages 15 points per game, and he has 3 points.
You waited there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Roberts rips down the offensive rebound.
Beautiful.
Puts it up and in for 2.
Yeah, beautiful drop step. Makes contact with the left shoulder and then drop steps over the right.
Quiet in this game, forces that one. Nothing going for the talented freshman, Yegor Demon. Cryer a 3, got it!
Well, L.J. Cryer can miss a lot of shots, and he is not going to stop firing them up. No field goals for BYU in the last 2.5 minutes. The nation, and ironically, one of those 6 losses was to BYU.
Yeah, back in 2019.
Yeah, a buzzer beater. TJ Hawes hit one about right where Yegor has the ball now.
So Houston well on their way to extending the nation's longest active home win streak to 30. Good pass, but no finish. That's been the story of the day for BYU. Catching's trying to dig it out.
Man.
Battle for the ball. This is Big 12 basketball.
Oh, that's a travel. Oh my gosh, you got to make a shot.
BYU missing 2 layups from right up close.
I'm telling you, that's hearing footsteps behind you, right? We've seen 2 or 3 situations where BYU looked like they had an uncontested layup, only to have someone come from behind and block it. And Fousseyni Traore certainly thought that somebody was coming. Excellent free throw shooter. Shoots 89% from the line. Sorry about that, Foos.
You knew that was coming right when you said it. High school teammates with Richie Saunders. Those two have been playing a lot of basketball together. No tougher defense they've faced throughout their basketball careers than the one they have faced here in Houston this afternoon. Francis regathers, goes up with it. It falls off the rim. Traore there.
On the top of your screen, you see Kevin Young saying, push it, push it. Good pass.
And Keita says, I'll dunk this one. Not messing around with a layup attempt.
No footsteps coming on this one, big fella.
That is the first made basket for BYU in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's the first clean look they've had at the basket in maybe 16 minutes.
Yeah. Houston still very much in the driver's seat. Step back 3, Uzan got it. Milos Uzan.
Shoots almost 40%, and that was a complete breakdown offensively, and was just Uzan creating something.
BYU goes back inside, denied this time.
Kevin Young's about to get a technical, calling for a foul.
It's been a frustrating performance for his BYU Cougars on the road. Houston buries another one. LJ Cryer from the corner. Timeout. BYU.
And boy, they've got a lot to learn.
Only 6 made threes today. They average 11.
Nobody makes more three-point field goals in the Big 12 than BYU.
Nothing has come easy offensively. Rejected at the rim again, Javier Francis. Roberts lefty hook, no good. Arsenault leaves it off for Francis, and he's got an and one opportunity coming.
Boy, just dominating the glass right now, getting 2 and 3 looks at the basket every time down the floor. Rebounding now 28-17 in favor of the Houston Cougars.
It's an 8-0 Houston run in the last 62 seconds. They are pouring it on in this second half. And we were just talking about all the home success they've had in this building. You know, in all their home games this year, they have only trailed for 2 minutes and 7 seconds. That was all the way back on November 13th. So they like to go wire to wire. And they are certainly on their way to doing that here.
Good move.
Scoop to the hoop, Dawson Baker.
What a great compliment. Kevin Young said he may be the most underrated, underappreciated player on his roster, and said, dude is a baller. Oh, man, I'd love for a coach to have said that about me.
You're saying they didn't, as Arsenault drills a corner three.
Not ever, and never even considered it, using that descriptor.
Well, there's a ton of ballers out there, and a lot of them are wearing white uniforms. Houston now outscoring BYU 24-12 in this second half.
Excellent on-the-ball defense by Terrence Arsenault.
There's the baller. Baker misfires that time.
Oh, Traore is down there battling. They don't know where to go or what to try. So here we are with 9 minutes to go. 9 minutes expired in the second half, and still 12 turnovers and 12 field goals made for BYU.
And for Houston offensively, been a very balanced approach. It helps when you get so many points off of those turnovers. 19 Houston Cougar points off turnovers today. This time it's Houston who turns it over. Baker right to the rim. That'll count. Goaltend.
Well, Dawson Baker doing a good job taking the ball all the way to the rim. Javier Francis almost got that at the peak of that shot. That was close. BYU with the half court. It looked like a half court trap, but it's token. Oh, there it is.
Shot clock under 8. Malik Wilson into the game. And now here's Emmanuel Sharp. Has to hoist a deep three. Everything going down for Emmanuel Sharp.
Holy cow. I mean, that was a step back from 28 feet and pretty good defense.
That is when you know you're red hot. End of the shot clock, you just have to heave it. And it falls.
You know, the Cougars have now made 12 3-point field goals in this game.
Sharp responsible for 4 of them. BYU answers with a 3. Trevin Knell, he's been the lone bright spot for BYU offensively.
Some of the BYU players have been overwhelmed. That is not true for Trevin Knell.
His 4th made 3 to tie Sharp for the most in the game.
Houston's talented freshman Mercy Miller into the game for the first time.
Number 25 in white has it here. Finds Sharp. Heat check. Left it short. Battle for the ball, won by Knell. Baker denied by Francis.
Kevin Young really frustrated with not getting calls. A block down on one end. Javier Francis doing a nice job recovering and playing defense with his chest, but Kevin Young really frustrated with no calls.
And that can weigh on an official when you know Houston's the best defensive team in the country. We saw it with kind of Tony Bennett's Virginia teams.
Yep.
They'll get away with a couple because you're conditioned, you're human.
Huggins, West Virginia teams go back to John Thompson and Georgetown.
Yep. Human nature, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You go even back, we played against some great Arkansas teams with Eddie Sutton, and they had the Smother brothers. And I mean, every time you were trapped by Darrell Walker, it's slapping and grabbing, and hey, you come out and your arms are bleeding. The ref's like, no, that was clean. Like, yeah, dude, I got blood running down my arms. What do you mean, clean?
Look at that defense today. Over the season, 33%. Now, BYU normally shoots at 49%, so they are 12 percentage points lower than their season average, way closer to Houston's season average.
Well, and they came into the game, BYU averaging 85 points per game. Mercy Miller, if he can take the coaching and the toughness and the change in culture, he is going to be the next superstar here at Houston. I mean, this kid is loaded with talent.
Well, Kelvin Sampson has said that his teammates love him. They have rallied with him as he kind of goes through those freshman woes.
Yeah, Kevin Young's got his arms thrown up in the air, thinking, you know, he's saying, for crying out loud, you're going to call that one? He is really frustrated.
We enjoyed our conversation with the first-year BYU head coach.
Fascinating.
Yeah, enjoyable guy, NBA 20-year career as an assistant, now takes this head coaching job at the college ranks. And we asked him the biggest difference. He goes, in the NBA, you coach through the games. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Now we get the opportunity to coach through practice, and he's going to have a lot to be coaching after this performance.
Yeah, he's talking about getting in the rhythm of Tuesday, Saturday, or whatever it is, 2 games a week, and how much you can get done. But a fascinating conversation, right? So few coaches move from the NBA. He was associate head coach for the last 3 years for the Phoenix Suns. So few coaches make that step that, boy, his success sure might open the doors to lots of other NBA assistant coaches.
And he was probably a year or 2 at most from being a head coach at that level. But he's going to get things going at BYU. A 10-2 start, and they have hit a speed bump in Houston, trailing 70-39.
The program is built on toughness, defense, and rebounding. And that translates no matter what number and who's wearing the jerseys. And it is a culture that is unique in the country, and the success is just unimaginable here in Houston.
And what's most unique about it is the player retention.
Yes.
In the age of the transfer portal, Kelvin Sampson's only lost 2 players in the last 10 years through the transfer portal. Arsenault steps back and hits another 3. That's the 13th made 3 this afternoon by Houston.
2 players have left his program. That is amazing. Caleb Mills went to Florida State. Tremont Mark went to Arkansas, is now starting at Texas. And other than that, the tough coaching, the tough culture, the kids embrace it. They embrace the expectation.
And we said it at halftime, but it's a scary thought to think of this team adding 3 5-star freshmen, the number 2 class in the country.
Chris Senack, the #1 center, a 5-star. Isaiah Harwell, a ESPN top 15. Kingston Flemings, a top 5 point guard. Good up fake. Well, that's the play BYU has not been able to make all afternoon. You think, wait, a play right under the rim? Yes, a play right under the rim.
That has been well protected for most of this game. Keba Keita with the breakthrough there. Uzan trying to find Tugler. He was off balance, sent up ahead. Saunders chased down by Emmanuel Sharp, and a foul call.
Yeah, good hustle by Emmanuel Sharp, getting down there in front of Richie Saunders.
What a week for Richie Saunders.
Yeah.
You go from a career-high 30 points the other night against Arizona State to being totally taken out of this game.
Now, BYU has 5 guys that average double figures, right? So it's not like you take Richie Saunders out of the game, you beat BYU. But him coming off of a 30-point game and coming into this arena, you just knew that he was going to be challenged.
Uzan fires a 3. That rims out. Yeah, you mentioned BYU, they're by committee as well. 8 players averaging between 14 points per game and 7 points per game. But you need Yegor Demin and Richie Saunders to be atop those scorers, and they have just combined for 9 points today. Credit this relentless Houston defense. Almost another turnover.
Kevin Young still working over there on the sidelines. Just extremely frustrated. Frustrated with his team's performance, frustrated with their inability to execute, and very frustrated with the officiating.
Emmanuel Sharp's afternoon might be done. 18 points for him, and you would never know he's dealing with that foot problem, totally swollen. He spent some time this week in a boot and playing through it. Saunders a chance for an and one opportunity.
And for the first time this afternoon, BYU has more field goals made than turnovers.
Took him a while.
Took him a minute.
JoJo Tugler just committed his 5th foul, so he's fouled out for the rest of the game.
I'm going to put a stake in the ground.
Sure.
When these two teams play again in Provo, it is going to be a completely different basketball game.
What makes you say that?
I would not be surprised to see BYU win that game. They have too much pride. They have too much talent. They have been too overwhelmed. And I expect that they'll come out and start knocking down threes. And you'll say, wait a minute, is that the same team?
Okay, well, it's easy to say that because they don't play in Provo this season. They play next season, so they'll have A.J. DeBanza. So it will be a different team.
Well, see, that was a factor also. Well, the Big 12 tournament when they meet.
Oh, it could be that.
May not be in Provo.
High flying Malik Wilson on a rack attack. I'm just giving you a hard time. BYU uses their final timeout. It has been all Houston. Well, the home to the nation's longest active home winning streak is 5 minutes away from improving to 30 straight wins in the Fertitta Center. BYU, nice action out of the timeout. There's Javier Francis. Goes up with it, not known for the jump shot, and misfired there.
I looked over to the bench to Kelvin Sampson, and he would like to not see that shot again. Just relentless, right? Every time you think you have a mismatch, every time you think you have an opening, or the rotation comes over from the weak side, it has been exceptional. So Kevin Young was talking about they needed to be more connected on defense. This is the video that you go study. This is the defensive effort that you show your team. This is what I'm talking about, and this is what it looks like.
Houston running a pretty tight eight-man rotation, but when you get up by this margin, you can rotate some new bodies in there. So Cordelius Jefferson and Cedric Lott in for Kelvin Sampson's team for the final 4 minutes. Remember, Houston turns around and they've got TCU on Monday night. So the starters a well-deserved rest with this game well in hand and a 30-point lead.
Good opportunity for Mercy Miller to get in the flow offensively in a Big 12 game.
25 in white. Said it's Malik Wilson who continues to be a bright spot. He's been terrific in that role player role today.
Already 9 points in very limited minutes.
Rejected at the rim. That is the afternoon for BYU.
Ooh, that's double dribble.
Here's Mercy Miller. BYU will be back in action at home against Texas Tech. And even though this is a lopsided result, you don't want to overreact to what this means for BYU. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we come back. Final 3 minutes here in Houston.
Boy, you got another thing coming.
That 20-game conference schedule is really unrelenting. There's no room to breathe, like you said. And for first-year head coach Kevin Young, he'll see what this team is all about when they get in the trenches of Big 12 conference play.
Well, the good news is in the Big 12, 7 of the teams are in the top 30. So that's lots of quad one win opportunities in front of you.
And the losses don't hurt you. Like this loss, even though it's by a big margin, won't hurt BYU's on the road against a top 14 team.
Playing with house money, right?
And for Houston, the reigning Big 12 regular season champions with that impressive 15-3 conference record a year ago, they'll be right at the top of the Big 12 standings again. You'd have to imagine if they continue to turn in performances like this one.
You know, it's way too early to be talking about bracketology. But since you brought it up, I mean, those are the opportunities, right? When you look at it and say those are games at home or on the road that can earn you an NCAA bid.
So Joe Lunardi has BYU right on the bubble, first 4 out. Has Houston as a 4 seed. I'm going to think they do better than the 4 seed, but what do I know?
Malik Wilson has been fantastic off the bench. It's now 12 points for Malik.
And Houston has a season-high 15 made three-pointers. When this team can get 15 threes and play the defense they play, they're unbeatable.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
BYU finally gets a 3 to go. That's Mihailo Bošković, the junior Serbian. And even after that made 3, it's a 30-point deficit for BYU in a wire-to-wire win for Houston here at home. That'll extend the nation's longest active home win streak to 30. I don't think people know how difficult it is to win 30 straight home games with the level of competition we were just talking about.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You know, you talk about Houston and the program and what Kelvin Sampson has done. It's rarefied air. You know, I get lots of people saying, well, you know, is this comparable to the glory days? And my answer to that is, what are you talking about? This is the glory days. I mean, this is the golden era of Houston basketball. And what Kelvin Sampson has built and what he has turned this program into, you know, it is in rarefied air. And I'm not sure anybody, even the most ardent supporter of the school, could have anticipated what Kelvin and Kellen and Quantas White and Hollis Price have built.
That's such an interesting point you make, because I do agree with you. Despite all the success Houston has had under Kelvin Sampson, you still think to Phi Slamma Jamma and your era. And
that was 3 years.
Right.
And I mean, 3 outstanding years, 3 Final Fours.
This is a decade.
This is sustained excellence.
Right on cue. Another triple. 16 made threes for Houston today. Cordelius Jefferson getting in on this party. Everyone scored for Houston.
Well, Kevin Young and his staff's got to be, could you please just let the clock keep running?
Now, this is no doubt the most dominant Houston performance on the season when you consider the competition.
Well, and a lot of Houston fans were concerned, right? They've been a little bit of the lamb killers. They've played 4 really challenging games, and they've lost 3 of them. Auburn, who I agree with Coach Greenberg is the best team in the country, Alabama, and then San Diego State.
But like Kelvin Sampson's team have done throughout his tenure, they've gotten better with each practice, each game, and in the form they're in right now, if they keep getting better, they will have something to say about the Big 12 championship and the national championship.
It's a process, right? You just keep getting better. This team will be better in February than it is in January. And the same for BYU. This was a dominant performance by the Houston Cougars.
Make it 6 straight wins for Houston. The number 14 team in the country turns in a tremendous effort. And a 31-point victory.
Did not see this one coming.
No, we thought close competitive.
Yeah, no doubt.